Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Got another great video for you guys today. As usual, you guys know the deal on this channel. We must continue to set the record straight. Stop the lies. Stop the narratives. Stop them from rewriting the history. And in this video, man, we're going to have to give some smoke to Luka Doncic, man. And, you know, like I said, I haven't done really many videos. I don't know if I've done any videos on Luka Doncic before. And I'm not really a huge Luka Doncic fan, but this is not a tear down Luka Doncic video. But once again, we must humble Luka Doncic, man, and we must put these things into perspective. And to me, Luka Doncic needs to get his butt in shape, man. He needs to get in shape. He needs to get physically tougher, physically stronger, and he needs to give more effort on the defensive end, man. We're going to talk about it in this video, man, because once again, Luka Doncic, he's been exposed as not being really a great two-way player, man. Not really being able to give that effort on the defensive end. And I blame a lot of it on him not being in that great of shape, man. And I blame him because, once again, he was the one saying that the NBA was a joke. The NBA was softer than the EuroLeague. The EuroLeague was harder, all these things. But the man's always crying and moaning on the court. And like I said, man, he's not really known for being much of a defensive player, man. So we're going to talk about this video, man. And I want to thank you guys, man, everyone across the world, everyone across the states that's been supporting my channel. Once again, guys, I am truly humbled, man, by all support, guys, for real. It means a lot. Thank you to everyone out there, for real, guys. It means a lot. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, man. You know, I forgot it was Father's Day, man. So shout out to all the fathers out there, man, for real. Hope everyone's having a good day out there, man. So shout out to you guys on Father's Day, man. But yes, guys, in this video, man, I want to talk on Luka Doncic briefly, man. Now, listen, once again, this is not a tear-down Luka Doncic video. We don't do any hate on this channel. But we must, guys? We must continue to set the record straight, guys. And it's all about the facts on this channel. And the facts remain, man, that Luka Doncic has been exposed, man, you know, in the NBA Finals, you know, when the competition was getting fierce, it was getting stiff at the highest of levels. He's been exposed as not really being much of a defensive player, being a liability on defense. And, you know, when you think about someone that size, right? Luka Doncic is, what, like 6'8"? I don't even know how big he is, man. He's a pretty big dude at that point guard position. Then you really can't have an excuse to be that poor of a defensive player because you have the size, the body to be a better defensive player. It's not like, you know, Luka Doncic is 6'1" and he's some little guy like a littler guy like a Kyrie Irving, a Steph Curry, some of these other smaller point guards. So you can kind of be like, hey, man, how much of a defensive presence could you have? Luka Doncic has a size. The problem for Luka Doncic is what? Even though they tell us that this era is bigger, stronger, faster, Luka Doncic is not that great of an athlete. When we talk about the athleticism, the side-to-side lateral quickness, the speed, right? The quick first step, the jumping ability, those kinds of things. He's not what you would consider one of the great athletes in NBA's history. So this inhibits his defensive abilities, right? You have to be a greater athlete to play great defense, especially in this era, because you're not allowed to use physicality to play defense now. So you need to have a little bit more of a lateral quickness, a little bit more of a athletic base to play defense at a higher level in this era. With that being said, though, once again, the effort must be there. I told you guys, the effort should always be there. The effort should never change, even though the rules have changed. And Luka Doncic does not always put forth that defensive effort, right? And part of this, to me, is Luka Doncic is not in the greatest of shape. He doesn't look like he eats that great. He doesn't really look like he exercises. Now, once again, I'm not saying that these guys in the offseason have to be doing all kinds of crazy stuff, right? LeBron James claims that he spends millions on his body, does all these offseason workouts, but yet still, he's not playing 82 games either. What I'm saying is guys need to be more active in the offseason. They need to pay attention to their bodies. They need to start putting some effort into their nutrition and into their physical fitness. They need to start doing these things. It can't just be you playing basketball in the off season. There must be some strength training being done. It has to. This is how you keep your body, right, durable. These guys, once again, they keep telling us are bigger, stronger, faster, but these guys are not as durable as the guys, the grown men that I grew up watching in the 80s and the 90s. Those guys were durable, right? They could take a beating and keep coming back, right? The guys today, they fall awkwardly. They're out for 2 weeks. They bang something, they're out for a week. Now, guys back in the day, they were able to push through these things. They had greater mental fortitude as well. So when I think about Luka Doncic, man, he needs to start taking his nutrition, his physical fitness more serious. Like I said, I don't know what he's doing in the offseason. Maybe he does train the offseason. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But to me, I don't think he is. He doesn't look like he is. His body looks very smooth. Doesn't look like he has made muscle definition on there. And once again, he's never really out there. I think this year is only the second time in 6 seasons that he's played 70 games. And he's never come close to playing 80 games or 82 games. Most years he's playing 61 games, 65 games. Not impressed at all with that kind of performance, with that kind of productivity, that durability. Because what will they often tell you about Luka Doncic, the numbers he puts up? Well, it's easy to put up some of these numbers when you're only playing 60 games, 65 games. If you have to play 20, 15 more games, it's a lot harder to put up these numbers. Once again, guys, I'm not impressed. Also, we look at the minutes that Luka Doncic plays per game. I'm not really impressed either with his durability, with his motor. Playing, 35, 34, 36 minutes a game? Not impressed for the bigger, stronger era of today. Luka Doncic, right now in his physical prime, he should be playing 38, 39, 40 minutes a game. A lot of the all-time great players back when I was growing up, they played 38, 39, 40 minutes a game in their physical primes. Luka Doncic is playing 34, 35, 36 minutes. So once again, they load and manage these guys, right? They don't play as often. But yet still, Luka Doncic is always breaking down, it seems. And we see right now in the NBA Finals, he seems to be breaking down. And what is this now? It's a built-in excuse for Luka Doncic. That's all they're doing. More excuses. These guys always get excuses, but then they'll say, oh, these guys are bigger, stronger, faster. The athletes today are greater. These guys are this and that. Then how come you're making an excuse for Luka Doncic being hurt? He's hurt. He's not injured. He's hurt. Once again, if he's really that hurt, if he's really that injured, then why is he playing? If you're on the court, there's no excuses. That's how I always grew up thinking. That was our way of thinking. If you're out in the court, you're ready to play. There's no excuses. So once again, I don't want to hear about Luka Doncic being banged up. This goes to what I'm saying. I don't believe he keeps himself in good condition. He needs to change whatever he's doing in the offseason. He should be able to play 75, 80 games every year. Especially when you're not playing the defensive abilities, the defensive end. And Luka Doncic has been exposed during this NBA Finals as being one of the worst man defenders in the history of the finals. Guys are just blowing right past him. And the screenshot to this video is those numbers that ESPN posted, his blow-by rate. Guys are just going past him like he's standing still, like he's standing in quicksand. Because once again, Luka Doncic is not the most fleet of foot athlete in the NBA right now, but yet he's able to dominate on the offensive end. Why? Because the offensive end is where they've allowed these guys to have the advantage. Back in the day, the defensive guys, the defenders, had the advantage on the offensive guys. They were allowed to use their physicality to level the playing field, so to speak. So the defensive players had the advantages. Especially back in the 60s, the 50s, things like that, when guys, like the offensive player was at a disadvantage. They would call offensive fouls all the time, charges all the time back in them days. The defensive players were allowed to use 2 hands. But back in those days, the defender had an advantage. Now, the offensive player has all the advantage now. So guys like Luka Doncic look amazing. But I want you guys to think about something like the rebounding for Luka Doncic, right? People will say, oh, Luka Doncic is a great all-around player, right? But they don't talk about defense. But let's think about the rebounding for Luka Doncic real quick. And once again, this is not me tearing Luka Doncic down. These are the facts. Luka Doncic is not really that good of a rebounder. Yeah, he might average 8 rebounds a game for his career, whatever the case may be. But if you look at Luka Doncic's offensive rebounds, guys, the offensive rebounds is pathetic. It's terrible. Mediocre at best. I believe maybe he averaged 1 offensive rebound, maybe a couple times in his career, maybe 2 times. But look at his offensive rebounding numbers. Most of Luka Doncic's rebounds that he gets are these long defensive rebounds. Remember all the 3-point shots that guys shoot today? So Luka Doncic is not in there battling and hustling for offensive rebounds. He's getting a lot of these long rebounds. Luka Doncic will have a triple-double, will have 10, 11 rebounds, and 0 offensive rebounds. 0. Not even 1. When you think about Magic Johnson, who played the point guard position about similar size as a Luka Doncic, Magic Johnson was a much greater rebounder than Luka Doncic. Look at his offensive rebounding numbers for Magic Johnson. And we also think about the era Magic Johnson played in versus Luka Doncic. Magic Johnson played in an era with great big men. Big men down low banging. The great bigs. Luka Doncic, he's not playing in an era with bigs, with a physical era. So Magic Johnson had to fight for those rebounds. He had to earn those offensive rebounds. Luka Doncic, he ain't doing anything. No offensive rebound from Luka Doncic. So I'm not really impressed with his rebounding prowess. It's not really that great, or as great as it might seem on paper. The playmaking ability of Luka Doncic, no doubt, the man's a great playmaker. No doubt about it. Once again, though, in this soft era where guys are allowed to carry the ball, manipulate the rules, travel. The assists are being counted differently in this era than they were in previous eras. Those are just the facts, guys. That doesn't take away from Luka Doncic. Those are the facts. So the numbers that he's putting up are inflated, no doubt. But once again, where's the effort on the defensive end for Luka Doncic? He needs to get in shape. He needs to become more physically fit. He needs to become more durable. He needs to be tougher. And he needs to stop crying and moaning on the basketball court like a baby. You expose yourself, Luka Doncic, when you say that the NBA is easier than the Euro League and you try to downplay the NBA. But then at the same time, you're always crying and moaning. It can't be both ways. Stop crying and moaning for foul calls or lack of fouls or whatever the case may be. If the NBA is so much easier than the Euro League, he's coming across as a baby. And he's been this for years now. It ain't just this year, the year before. He's improved a little bit, no doubt. But the man's always crying. You're starting to go down the LeBron James road, Luka Doncic. Be careful. You're starting to become a guy who puts up stats and cries a lot. Right? Don't play no defense. Who's that sound like? Like LeBron James. Turning into a European LeBron James, Luka Doncic. He needs to get more effort on the defensive end. Sacrifice some of that scoring for some defense. Get yourself in better shape. Work on these things in the off season. Stop working on these stupid offensive moves and these dribbling moves and the shooting. You ain't playing no defense. Defense wins championships. Luka Doncic needs to get himself in shape. He's not in shape. He don't take it serious, man. These guys think the NBA is a joke, but then they want to be mentioned with the all-time greats. I don't respect it. You got to play both ways. Luka Doncic has the frame to be impactful on both sides of the ball. You got to give that effort. So you guys know the deal, man. Luka Doncic must be humbled. He must humble himself. He must be called out. He needs to work on his D. He needs to give the effort on defense more. He needs to get in better shape. He needs to be a better leader. And he needs to stop crying. Stop crying, man. Damn. Always crying with the fans. Always crying with the refs. Nobody wants to hear this stuff, man. Once again, you guys know the deal on this channel, man. Luka Doncic is a great player, man. He's a great player. But at the same time, he's been exposed. You can't on one hand say the NBA is soft, the NBA is not as hard as the Euro League, and on the flip side, you can't play no deal against any of these guys. You can't stop none of these guys, though. Yeah, it might be easy for you to score. This is what we've been talking about. That's one part of the game. Scoring is not going to win it for you. You got to play D. Both sides of the ball. You want to go down as one of the all-time greats, the 10, 20 greatest players of all time, you got to impact both sides. You got to give the effort on both sides. You got to be a leader. You got to stop crying. You got to be out there. These guys are supposed to be bigger, stronger, faster. They're not out there, though. Luka Doncic, man, play 80 games, man. Let me know when you can play 80 games. You guys know the deal on the channel, man. We must continue to hold these guys to the standard, man. Luka Doncic needs to get in shape. My man needs to get out there, start giving the effort on the defensive end, man. It's all great that you guys can score these points, man. No doubt. No one's impressed with the numbers anymore. The numbers are not what we're talking about. It's about what did you do? What do those numbers do? How'd you galvanize your teammates? Did you make them better? Did you push them in practice? Did you hold them to a standard? Are you tough enough? Can you play? There's no excuses. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.